In this edition of the Relationship Life Quick Fix, the entire world is under quarantine because of the coronavirus, and you don't live with your significant other. How are you supposed to date? Will your relationship survive this crisis? Join me. I have some ideas. So it is March 2020 and we are under quarantine. The entire planet is under quarantine from the coronavirus. And you people in the future that are watching this 20, 30, 50 years from now, this really happened. The entire world has shut down over this thing. But I don't want to talk about that just yet because we're going to get to that in a minute. What I want to ask you guys is, hey, listen, did you ever get flying cars? Because we were promised that 2 decades ago and we're still waiting. Oh, I'm sorry, that's just a pet peeve with me. Anyway, so the coronavirus. As I said, the entire world has basically shut down. So you're dating somebody and you can't see the one you care about. What do? It sucks, I know. It's like the entire world is in one gigantic long-distance relationship. And that's what you kind of have to treat this like, is a long-distance relationship. Every relationship right now with people that aren't living together are in a long-distance relationship. But it doesn't necessarily have to be that way because I have some ideas to help you get through it. Assuming you go in separate cars, there are things you can still do on a date that won't violate the social distancing guidelines. And I'm going to share a few of my ideas with you right now, but I'm sure you guys have some ideas of your own. So make sure you smash that like button and leave me comments and leave other people comments letting us know your ideas, because if you share your ideas with everybody and I share my ideas with everybody, we're going to have a shit ton of ideas and everybody's going to be happy. Okay, so what can you do on a date that won't violate social distancing guidelines? How can you stay 6 feet apart? Well, there are many things you can do that require you to stay 6 feet apart. For one thing, kayaking. If you're in 2 separate kayaks, you're pretty much going to be 6 feet apart the whole time. And you can rent kayaks in most towns that have some kind of waterfront. You can go fishing. As long as you sit 6 feet apart, catch fish, talk, have a great time. You could go for a walk. Now, you can't hold hands, but you can walk side by side about 6 feet apart and have a conversation. What? A conversation? Who has those anymore? I know, right? You can have a conversation with your significant other. It doesn't have to be all lovey-dovey. And hey, if you have to absolutely touch each other, and I know I have a hard time keeping my hands off my significant other, you can always hold hands wearing gloves. Because you know what they say, no glove, no love. You could light a bonfire. You could sit on opposite sides of a bonfire and roast marshmallows without ever touching each other, because you don't have to touch, because in a long distance relationship you can't touch. And what they do in long distance relationships is they video chat, which is something else you can do. You don't even have to get together to have a date. You can have a virtual date. You can actually sit in front of your computer with your Skype on your laptop and have a glass of wine and a dinner, and she gets a glass of wine and dinner, and you guys are having a date. And you can do a few other things as well. Which brings up an excellent point. What about intimacy? What about sex? Well, unless you live in the same house with your significant other, that's pretty much not going to happen. That is a dangerous activity and it can get you infected. You're pretty much even going to have to give up kissing. But you know what? In giving up that, you're going to build anticipation. You're going to be so excited when you finally are able to get together, you're not going to be able to contain yourselves. And it may actually make you want each other more, which could do a lot of good for your relationship if you think about it. Now, if you really do need intimacy, I mean, if you really have to have it, you can't do without it, there are ways of doing it without touching each other. I mentioned video chat earlier, and I'm sure you guys could figure out what people can do on video that can be very intimate. Well, even if you can find a place to go where you can be alone in the same room, you can still maintain 6 feet apart and do pretty much the same thing you would do on a video chat. I'll let you guys put that together in your own heads. Hey, if nothing else, it's the ultimate in safe sex, right? But bottom line, nothing is impossible as long as you're creative, as long as you want it bad enough. And hey, isn't it about spending time with each other? So at least you're doing that. Even if you have to stay 6 feet apart, even if you can only do video chat, even if you can't touch each other, at least you're spending time together. And you know what? The effort will be appreciated on both sides. But like I said, anything's possible if you want it bad enough. And speaking of wanting it bad enough, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that bell button so that you can stay up to date on all my shows. But I am sitting in front of a webcam. We have talked a little bit about sex. And my clothes are about to come off. No, I'm just kidding. But you see what I did there? Peace.